little badass. Book badass. You little badass. You little badass. Book club badass. Welcome to the show.
We're back.
We are back,
Dare
baddies.
I say that we are here?
We are here.
And it is episode 16. Highly anticipated.
Highly anticipated. I was anticipating it. How about you?
Well, I know everybody else was because it's been a while since we've been in these seats.
Too long. I
Yeah.
like this seat. This is my favorite seat to be in almost.
Yeah. Fondness makes the, that's not it.
Fondness makes the fondness grow harder.
Fonder. So now that we're here, tell us, where have you been?
Okay, so you can tell. Quite articulate today. I'm loving it. We have almost too much to talk about, I think.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. And excited to share with you. I've been in Montana, to bring it back to Ashley's original question. Been in Montana. Loved it. I did a little post where I was reading the Matthew Wolf book, the beginning of his Ronin saga, and it is the perfect setting. Like, I love being outdoors, big trees, big mountains, in streams, creeks, rivers, lakes, all of that, when you are immersed in a fantasy world that takes place in nature. You know, it's the background and the setting perfectly echoed, mimicked, whatever, the book while I was reading it.
The swell of jealousy and appreciation for that situation that I just experienced while you were saying that sounds amazing. It's been a while. My setting hasn't changed for quite some time. And the idea to indulge or consume a story in a setting where it's like appropriate and peaceful, ooh, that sounds nice.
Okay, I have two thoughts from what you just said. One, you are on today, my friend. Ashley,
I know words.
Amazing. Do you know?
Yeah.
And second thought, what about that? I mean, summer's a time where a lot of people travel. I mean, I think it's because of the rhythm of a school year, to be honest.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
You know, kids are out in the summertime, or typically, I mean, some places that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go on these adventures, right? And so I think habitually, as a community, as society, we tend to vacation mostly in the summertime.
Yep.
And what about that thought of specifically going on a vacation because of a book you're reading and reading that book while you're there?
Okay, book club idea.
Yeah.
We, not like this year probably, at some time,
I love it.
we take a book club journey, even if it's just up to our local mountain, get an
Yes.
Airbnb and read there.
I mean, yes, please.
Yeah.
Dreams come true.
Yeah.
I think, too, we were just talking about how there's not enough stuff in some communities for children.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send your kids somewhere if you have them. And that way you can really just enjoy that experience for yourself, you know?
I just thought too, like there's a friend of ours that we don't ever get to see. And that's like the one thing I think that would get her
I know
to
who
us.
you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mac Daddy, we're calling for you.
Yeah. In fact, she has a home in the mountains.
Yes. We miss you.
I want to go a little, yeah.
Okay, I love that
Little
idea. I mean, why stop there, though? Let's go to Switzerland and read a book that takes place in the Alps.
Okay.
Yeah, or how about Mexico and like a cartel book?
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of reading done.
Maybe not that. Yeah. Not saying we've been to Mexico together, but
I think we've talked about it.
probably.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
so-
let's get back on track.
Okay, well, you guys might have already realized this, and if you haven't, something super awesome, special also happened when I was away, and Miss Chelsea Devantes.
She shouted us out, and she did it really, really nicely and
Thank you.
professionally
Yeah.
and amazingly, and I'm lost for words because it was a really exciting moment.
Yeah, and you know what? She's such a thoughtful, cerebral person that I love that she even took part of what we were saying and turned it into like a part of her thesis or something she wants to pursue with the conversation about women loving women.
Such a professional. They were talking about a hot topic. She remembered what was going on with us on the internet.
Oh my gosh.
Pulled it all together, was super nice about it, and just like, it was beautifully done.
Yeah, and I do think that there is a validation for needing stronger language or awareness about women bonds.
True.
And not bondage.
True.
Very true.
Unless that's what it is, then that's a little different, you
Yeah,
know,
and
a different category. But I mean, I
Different
like
category,
that too.
other books, other genres. But seriously, you guys should check her podcast out too. Glamorous Trash.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. I will, by the time this is posted, you
Yeah.
will have had access to the fun little clip where she talks about us. And I'll post that just because it's really cool. And it intros into her podcast
Yeah.
from us. I just really feel too like just hearing what they have to say, because I listened obviously to the whole episode, and it's a book club podcast, but they're talking about current stuff. They're talking about important stuff, and they're still laughing a lot. I enjoyed it. I'll probably give it another listen, but
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
neither here nor there.
You know, it also got me thinking too. When I was away, I kept thinking back to her book, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's about like the thing that I do like when people share their own stories is the human experience. Like
Mhm.
I talk a lot about the human experience, but that's how we are connected. And when you get somebody's journey or part of their journey or part of their lesson, like that's why we're here. You know,
Totally.
that's why we have a consciousness, I believe, is to have these experiences or share these experiences. And you can learn so much about life even without having experienced yourself through somebody's retelling of their events and what they've taken from it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm kind of into this memoir thing.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah. In fact, there's a couple that I want to pursue in future pods, so we'll talk about that later. But really, it's just my personal desire to see through others' eyes.
Well,
you
and
know?
we're living in a world where there's just so much disagreement and a lot of hate, and we know what's going on. So when we get to see through somebody else's eyes, their experience, granted it's not feeling those feelings, but we get a little perspective. I think that just adds to the acceptance that we can feel for people who are
Absolutely.
different than us, for people who've lived situations that we haven't lived. It all goes together.
Yeah, no, I love that. And also, she did mention how she noticed that I invited her out for a drink. So I'm gonna keep that out there. If ever our paths should cross, I owe you a drink. Maybe not the most expensive drink, but one that's delicious.
We'll see what happens with the pod.
We'll see what happens, Chelsea. So appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Yeah,
and
it was really cool.
And our own personal shout out to not just your book, which is wonderful, but also your podcast.
Yeah.
So
And your producer, she seemed like a good chat too.
yeah, good chat.
Yeah.
Speaking of good chats, Ashley, what have you been doing? Yes, big sigh.
The end.
Wonderful. That sounds deep.
Okay, well, I don't mean to interrupt. I am really excited to talk about ACOTAR because for the first portion of our little hiatus, that's all I was doing. I mean, I was like, keeping the kids alive and everything.
That's a good place to
But
start.
I was really in it to win it, so there was that. Something I will mention later is that I wasn't in it to win it with my personal read, but we'll discuss that in a few minutes.
Okay.
But overall, the summer is here. My oldest is starting school in a couple of weeks.
So cute.
We've just been kind of like prepping for that, giving a little, I wipe my own ass, if you know, you know. And so, Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's just been doing home stuff. Now we're laughing. We did. I won't even say it.
No, it's great. Yes.
I was gonna say we did say bye to one of our pets, not to bring down the
Yeah, so
mood, but
sorry.
there's just been a lot of life stuff happening,
Yeah.
and that's what we've been up to.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that because there were so many pages to read. The commitment that we gave, we were just like so excited, and then that life happened.
Yeah,
And I honestly just like talking with you.
yeah, me
like
too.
books are great, but
Yeah.
it's just great to get back near you, close to you.
Yeah.
See,
It is
women love women. Friendly.
platonic.
Perfect. All right, so should we switch it up a little bit and start with our personal reads?
Okay,
Yeah.
don't we always?
Yeah, I think we do actually.
Okay, well, I'll start because I feel like your Matthew Wolf book is like a really
Let's just
edge
call
of
him
our-
Matthew.
Okay, hey Matt.
Hey,
Maddie.
Matthew.
I feel like we crossed paths at UCSB, maybe circa 2006, 2007.
So we only stalked you slightly. a little bit, where we found out, that you actually did go to school when we went to school.
Yeah.
And you're about our ages. And then Ashley was like, wow, you look familiar.
I'm going to leave it
Possibly.
there, Matt, but, let us know. Let us know if it feels familiar.
I love it. The universe is so small.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, keep going.
So anyway, what I was going to say is I'll start with my personal read because I'm having a sort of Thursday Murder Club experience where I did read about 75 pages.
Great.
And I was actually going to stop. I was going to come on and be like, hey, I'm just not going to finish this book. It's not for me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to discredit the author. I do think that it's probably a pretty good book and it's worth my time. It has just been a few rough weeks. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take this next week and I'm going to finish it. But I do want to talk about it a little bit.
I might be contentious today. I'm just going to say that right now. And what made me think of it is not your book, but the thought that you almost were like, no, I'm not feeling it. I have felt that way with something that we are reading together.
Yeah.
And I am going to be vocal about it. But I've been thinking about it in my head, like circle, circle, circle around it, because I realize a couple things, and I'll get into it too, about picking a book, understanding before reading that book the style, the purpose, not just book talk, because I think that's a big thing right now, right?
It is.
People just like, hey, this book's blowing up, so it's the right book for me, and I think that's wrong. And
we've learned, maybe. We'll talk about it.
100%. And like my promise from the beginning was to be honest.
Yeah.
And I want to stay true to that. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be bagging on a book. I'm just going to say how a book is or isn't right for me, which is fine. But more importantly, giving like a review or sharing about books in a way where someone can go, oh, that is for me, and feel good about it. Or, you know what? I don't think that's really going to be for me either.
Right.
Like, we're not into selling books,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Like, it's just about understanding what they are and, hey, what's going to vibe, what's not going to vibe. And there's so many books, so many authors. I mean, I do it with TV all the time.
True. Flip the channel.
Yeah, flip the channel. So we can flip some covers, flip some books.
Yeah. And I might someday, but today's not the day. So
She's
here's
so
the
committed.
situation with Hungry Ghost by Kevin Jared Hosein, I
Go
believe.
on. I love
the
it.
situation with this book is it's a kind of like, it's not you, it's me situation. I feel like I wasn't in the right headspace for this historical fiction, which if you've watched or listened in the past, this is just how maybe I start with these types of books. Because pretty much every book that I've read, like, in that sort of genre, I've come on first pod and been like, and then I've come back second pod and been like, okay, that author was good here. What, the story was worth my time, whatever.
Yeah.
So where we are as far as this one goes, I started reading it like, old school with my eyeballs.
Amazing.
And I was enjoying it. I just really couldn't find the time to get into the nitty gritty. So, like we do sometimes, I went over to Audible or whichever, and I found the audio version. The narrator is speaking I have a feeling his native language is
like a dialect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time articulating that. So it's not super clear for me just to understand. Like, I really need to be in a place where I can sit and listen. I appreciated it at first because it made me feel like the vibe.
Right.
Like, I felt like I was right in it.
In the
like
island.
in the sugarcane fields,
Oh, wait, where does this take place?
Okay, sorry. Am I okay? Where is it?
You are so-
Trinidad.
Trinidad. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I didn't want to get it wrong. And it's like 1940s era. So when I first heard the voice, I was like, oh, this is actually perfect. I feel like so immersed. This is great.
Yeah.
But what I quickly came to understand, just also because I don't know if the author is a native, but to Trinidad, but there's a lot of like terminology and just like it's really like immersive in the culture. There are just like things we don't have here, foods, fruits, whatever, so there's just and slang that even reading it on the page, I have to kind of just be like really in it to get it.
Quick thought, save it, recheck it out, and we'll go to Trinidad.
I love that. I don't know if it's going to be much like it was back in the 1940s.
Okay.
but it might be fun.
Touche. That's right. Historical. Got it. Got it.
So my point being is I was really excited when I first heard the voice. And then I was like, wait a second, this is kind of, it's not doing what I needed to do right now because I still need to be at 100% perfectly focused to absorb it that way as well. So none of this is to say that I'm not enjoying this story because I actually am. What I've gathered so far from the first 6 chapters, that's where I'm at. I'm stopping at chapter 7 for now, is that there is a more wealthy man and wife and during this time, it's a lot of like sugarcane workers. There's a big divide in classes. So we've got workers who are staying workers and we've got wealthies who are staying wealthy, like generationally. Not all the kids are going to school. It's a really, really rough life for the people who live in what they call the barracks, which to me is just seeming sort of like an agricultural housing situation.
Okay.
It's rough. You know, we don't have 4 walls. We don't always have blankets. We don't always have a lot of food. It's really rough. So the wealthy farmer, and I'm calling him a farmer for lack of a better word, he owns a plantation type place. Okay. He's kind of like the town nut job, if you will. He's a little office rocker. Okay. He married this woman. She's a little younger, but she is comfortable now because he has money. They get along okay, but it seems like his mental illness is progressively growing and in just kind of like odd man of the village ways. Like he's not directly harming anybody, but he did shoot his gun off after he invited a bunch of kids to come play at his house. So there's just some weird stuff going on. He takes a lot of his advice from a painting in their shed, and the painting is of like a god, and I'm sorry, I forget what ethnicity, perhaps Chinese. I don't remember exactly. So anyway, there's a painting of a goddess in the shed. And in his opinion, his mom's spirit now lives within the painting. So he's getting a lot of his advice from the painting / his mother's spirit. So this book is layered.
This book is I mean, it seems very layered.
And that's all like just in the blurb because he goes missing.
But he's so wealthy that people kind of dismiss or don't really care about
that's what it is.
His quirkiness, and then he's gone.
Yeah, and then he goes missing. So his wife wakes up one day. There's a letter.
Did it.
Yeah, I'm leaving, and hold down the fort. I'll be back. And then there's 3 workers who come to work. One of them is Hans. Now he's like sort of the main character, I think, at this point. No, he's from Trinidad, but it's actually Hans Raj. Okay. But he goes by Hans.
Love it.
So he's like a diligent guy, honest guy, hard worker. Mm-hmm. The wife kind of has a crush on him. I mean, he has his own wife and son, but like she's just like, I appreciate his form, if you will.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And they're around the same age because she's younger than the husband. Yeah. And it's Trinidad in the 1930s and 1940s. There's a lot of rules. Like we are going, I think religion is a big part and social class is a big part. We're not stepping on people's toes. We're not getting in people's business.
Yeah.
There's just superstition is a big thing too. There's a lot going on culturally that I'm learning about.
So it's like, how many pages have you done? 70 something?
I'm only about 80 pages in, and it is about 300.
Okay, so 80 pages in, and that's how much information you've gotten already?
Yeah.
Is it kind of overwhelming? Was it? I mean, with how your life has been.
It's overwhelming for me as a book, as a novel. It's needed, I think, because I think I've gotten to the point where I've gotten the background information. For someone who has no idea about Trinidad in the 1930s and 40s, it was necessary, I believe. The big problem is that he's missing and we don't know where he is. He does have this mental illness. Yeah. He also has some enemies. He probably does shady business. We don't really know how he's got all this money. So there's stuff going on.
Okay, Ashley, I'm interrupting you because that's what I love
because
to do.
I'm about to where I've gotten.
Your climax?
Almost.
Great. Okay, so as I was saying, I think you hit something really, really important with historical fiction. You said because you're being introduced into history, right? There has to be almost an essence of a history class, right? Or a history book where the author has to spend time or to give you that information so that you understand the setting, you understand the situation. Now, I kind of just made that as a statement, but I should actually pose it to you as a question. Do you think an author could do historical fiction author can do that in a way that's less abundant? That's the wrong word, but in your face is slow. I mean,
I get what you're saying. Well, I think it really depends. I think if you want to be successful across different demographics, you really do need to give that background, because let's just say this book, which I have read, a book about the United States in the 1930s or 40s.
Have you?
Yes. The Antidote, and probably others.
Go on.
Even then, even being familiar with the culture and the terrain-ish and just the language, I still, and having had many history classes that I was very proficient in, it was still helpful to set the scene of, in that case, what was going on with the Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl. You got me.
Just like my house.
Literally. So I say, I think what's important is if the person is a good writer, because if you're a good writer, which is obviously, some people will say, yes, this guy's good. Some people will say, no, this guy's not. Whatever. If you're a good writer, the storytelling, that vision that you're getting is worth the read.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So there it is. So it's worth the read. Do you think there's a way that an author can do it better than what typically is read? I mean, there's just this dumping of information. And there are authors that are very tasteful who kind of like just set the ambience and, can lead you to water. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think, or do you enjoy that? Like, do you want the history lesson?
A little bit of both, because I think Kevin did a pretty good job. Because yes, I have gone, 80 pages in? 80 pages for this book isn't a lot. I mean, if you can see, the font's pretty big. He's getting pretty to the point. I've learned a lot that I didn't know about Trinidad and what's going on in the culture and what's important to the people. And in the big scheme of things, 80 pages isn't that much.
Okay.
So I think in this case, he's doing a pretty good job. I think it can be done well. If we take a step back to The Antidote, which I did by the end of the day say that I somewhat enjoyed.
Truth.
The woman was verbose. There was a lot going on for me.
Okay.
For me, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't need.
Okay.
When it comes to Kevin, he's giving me, I think, just the right amount.
Okay. So perhaps it was more like circumstances of the last couple weeks.
Oh, totally.
And like you had this intention, but sometimes that a book or a story, even a band or an album, right? Entertainment hits you in different ways at different times for specific reasons.
Yes.
And sometimes you might want to put on Blink 182, right?
Yes.
And you put it on and you're like, oh, I'm not feeling that.
Yes.
Like, not a bad band, especially the original, the OG, the early days, right? Like, Enema of the State. Let's just say it. Even before that, Buddha.
Literally that.
Yeah. I know. But you're not feeling it. And so you're like, you know what? I actually think I'm into Tiesto right now. Whoa. Like, completely different, right? Or maybe you're going to put on some metal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that the other artists are bad. It's just not
or
what
that
you
you
wanted.
might not come back to them later when you're in a different space.
That's true. And each album's different. Obviously, I'm a music person. So, but what I wanted to ask you, Ashley, this is super important. I want to have more conversations about
us.
Yes. And in that way, books, what for you makes a good historical fiction? What are you looking for in a book?
I want a good story. I want to put the fiction in historical fiction. I want a great story, which just quickly is why I've decided to continue on, because at the root, I think I'm just past what I need to know. Now at the root of this book, a man is missing and I think some kids are responsible.
Cool.
Which, hello, hi, me, that's what I'm here for. So I need a really good story. And for me, that good story is usually something a little like spooky, a little, black market, whatever.
Yeah.
I do think it is important for the most part to have that historical aspect, though. I do need
Yeah.
to know a little bit of what's going on. I'll be honest. I mean, this one is a little bit of a challenge because the culture is so far from removed from what like I'm familiar with. So it really does take not a critical eye, but at least an invested one to want to like remember like
Love it.
terms and names, even like who's who. Because like,
Right.
sorry, I'm being honest here. This person versus this person, until I've read it 10 times, kind of feels similar.
Got it.
You know?
Yep.
So, really, to me, though, the story is what is important.
Okay, so if you're listening and you're a baddie and that resonates with you, that gives you more of a lens of why Ashley picks her historical fictions, her books on purpose, and the experience that she's going to be having with them. So, like I said, if that resonates for you, you'll understand like, oh, hey, I might like that book, or if she doesn't like it, I might not like that book. Or if it's not resonating with you, then when she doesn't like something, you might go, oh, I'm going to like that. That's why I wanted to talk about it. But
That's great.
I think that's really important though, because like that was kind of my point earlier, where there are so many books, so many authors out there. Like we're giving our opinions. Some of it might be a little judgy too, which is totally fine because we're book reviewers. That being said, it's not full dismissal. It's just what doesn't work for us or what totally hits our spots. You know what I mean?
I'm really glad that well, first of all, this is a good talk. I'm glad that we're talking about this. And this is an appropriate time to talk about this because what we're going to talk about today.
Can't wait.
But with that being said, I'm going to wrap up for Hungry Ghost for now. I'm going to stick with it. You know what? We're going to be right back here next week. I'm not even going to say I'm going to finish it. This might be a 3-parter because you know what? He did win an award. I am interested in the story. I'm not going to rush it. I don't want to just listen quickly to get through it. I want to actually read the story. So next time we meet, I'll have read more.
And I love learning more about history and the world with you as my teacher and my guide.
No problem.
Way to go, Sherpa.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so you can put that down if you'd like.
I'm just going to keep it here.
Oh my God, okay. You do what you want, Ashley. You do you. What do you like? And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about a romance or a romantasy, but in a fantasy book. Like, what do you look for in fantasy? Straight up fantasy.
Other than The Last Unicorn, the Empyrean series, and now ACOTAR, I don't think I've read any fantasy.
Okay, so in general, like let's say you're watching.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So what are like? Tell me 5 things that you need
Such
from
a
it.
teacher. Okay, I will.
Not anymore.
Okay, so again, I think this is just across everything, all genres. We need a good story.
Okay.
So I don't care if it's romance. I don't care if it's someone missing, but we need, why are we here?
Yeah.
The next is a little bit of world building. And I can say that obviously because the Queen Rebecca was so good at it. The way that we can get immersed into a world that is fantasy, that is different from ours. Got it. I need to know a good amount. Kind of like with the historical fiction. Like I need that world built. I need to know where we are.
Yeah.
Okay. The next is we need a character that we're rooting for.
Got it.
And they don't need to be completely likable, from all angles, but we need to root for them in a way.
Yep.
Okay. In the next, what are we? Number 4? Okay. Well, then with that being said, we need somebody or something. It could be maybe a group, but we need something that we are kind of rooting against. Like maybe this is just good versus evil, but we need that. And lastly, I think I'm going to stick with characters and saying because of what we've read, period. Those ancillary characters that we fall in love with are so important to keep that story going, to keep us interested, because a lot of times, especially with like a fantasy book, there's a lot of volume there. Yes. We need more than just internal dialogue from one character.
Amen. Amen. Okay, so those are your fantasy 5.
Yeah.
Fantasy 5.
Those are my quick fantasy 5.
Your quick fantasy 5. I feel like that's a lotto thing. Maybe it is.
It's like a fantasy football, maybe?
Well, we'll see if you're going to get lucky. Okay, so I would add to that in typical fantasy fashion, some element of magic.
Oh, yes.
Right? Mystique, something like that. I have found that for me personally, dragons.
Partial.
Partial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And other than that, I mean, I think you really hit the nail. I do like a little bit of either sexual tension. Once again, this is fantasy, not necessarily romance. Okay. But something a little sexy. Which and the idea of sexy could also be, taken within that fight of good and evil.
Sure.
Right? That mystique. And then how the author then paints the picture, how vivid it is. So you talked about like setting the scene, like knowing the world, developing the world, but I'm going to go a step further and have an author who could be descriptive so that I can see it in my mind.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I kind of mentioned it when I was getting to know Mr. Matthew and his Ronin series, because I do believe that it offers all of those things.
Wow.
Yes, I know. So, to remind everybody, this is Matthew Wolfe, The Knife's Edge, book 1 of the Ronin saga. And it was interesting because I went on Goodreads because I wanted to see what other people's perspectives are.
Okay.
And this is kind of a theme to today's to me, what I keep saying about different licks, different likes.
Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Exactly. I actually don't know what I just said, so I'm just going to...
I liked it. I can't wait to hear it again later.
I'm going to pass through it right now. I'm blushing a little bit. So as I was saying, I think for some people who are very critical readers, some of those people had a hard time getting into it. Does that make sense?
It does. And I just had a thought, like it must be a challenge when I don't want to say write to a certain group, a certain audience, but inevitably a lot of times that's what's going to happen when that particular audience is one that's known to be critical.
Like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a diehard person who really wants to be invested, so invested that they might take liberties and be like, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Or any genre, really,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And I think that's what I like about it is we're like, F it.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like this is the entertainment we're getting. This is the value. Like we don't have to get super invested. Like these are the rules and this is how you play by them.
Yeah.
So I don't have that with this. I looked at, in reflection of our top 5, 10, whatever, this has all of those aspects.
Amazing.
And I think what's really impressive is, once again, the age that he started, his own personal background with Japanese culture as well, his understanding. There was a critic that was talking about how, the Ronin and, some hints of Japanese culture and like it was kind of contrary. And it's like, no, first of all, Ronin. And that's where this dude is pulling some of his information. And this is something that he's studied. And so it's his take and he's creating a world based off of, other ideas and concepts. And I'm going to be 100% honest right now, Ashley.
Ooh.
Civilization's been around for a long time.
Quite.
Yeah. When I think I have like a good hashtag or I think that I have a good band name, this happens all the time. I'm like, oh, that would be such a rad punk band. Like, and then I look.
And it is a rad punk.
It is. It's like 5 different, right?
Yeah.
Right? So like, and there's just this oversaturation. And I think as a society, we got to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
We have to let it go and be like, okay, someone tell us what this is about and let me see if I'm going to enjoy it.
Beautiful.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I enjoyed it.
Oh.
Okay.
Is there love?
It's interesting. This is more akin, I feel, to, and I had mentioned Tolkien before, Lord of the Rings, right? You have friendships. So you have those ancillary characters that are built up. You do have this dark and light that's based in this prophecy, but also it's like lived out through 2 main characters. Okay. Or this dark and light. Okay. There is a little bit of a Star Wars edge to it. Like, and maybe that's where people are like tropey. But once again, there's a reason why all of that's successful. It hits the heartstrings, There is mentors in this book. And then you have the historical like concept of Ronin. So it's really neat in that aspect. And there's enough humor in it That's another thing that I like in a good book or a good fantasy book
Yeah.
is a little bit of humor, because it's like, if you take yourself too seriously, first of all, nobody does that.
Right.
And when it's a fight for good and evil and you're in a saga, you don't want to just be trudging along the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about this book is it's event after event after event after event.
Love that.
Yeah, I know. It's really good in that way. I will say this. I double teamed it. So I had the Audible, and then I also had this book that, as we know, he signed. I love it. And I prefer the book. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you have a voice actor and it's one voice actor and they're making all the voices for all the characters, there's only so much range that can happen.
Yes.
And if they make a choice that is in opposition to what you need from a character, you're not going to enjoy it as much.
Yes.
So like the protagonist, the main character, he's got two names. It's Kieran, and then once he has to lose his memory, it's Gray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cute.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And he to me is a stronger character than the voice was.
I see.
Because it was an older man, an incredible, I mean, most of the voices were really, really good, incredible orator. But because he's older, when he would do the younger character, it seemed weaker. And somebody else reviewed it as akin to Wheel of Time. Have you seen some of that on Prime?
Nope.
Okay, so it's another fantasy. I love the witches in it and those aspects. Really cool concept. But the way that the voice is for the Audible reminded me of my least favorite character of Wheel of Time.
Okay.
And he's also a male protagonist.
Okay.
He's got like this English accent, but to me he's kind of weak.
Mm.
He's like Luke Skywalker. And here's the thing, you guys. Lots of people love Luke Skywalker because he's like, the OG good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a pussy. I'm just gonna like my whole life, like I love all those characters, and this is just a little bit for you to know about Katie, okay? He was kind of annoying, right?
Right.
Like me, like
Yeah.
complain. Oh,
Like
I can't do
Mark
this.
Hamill, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
and
maybe
Mark's incredible. I mean, he also
Obviously.
the vocal of Joker, like the
Oh,
cartoon.
interesting.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool guy, and he's done incredible things. His character, Luke Skywalker, I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Right.
So every time I'd hear that, I would go into the book and I'm like, no, you can actually, if you read this yourself, you can make the lead protagonist a little bit stronger. And I prefer, even though the main character has to fight different things personally.
Of course.
Right? They have things that they have to overcome, challenges physically, but especially mentally. And when you were in the voice that the orator was doing, it was like, well, he should be stronger. Like I wanted him stronger.
Yeah.
But when it was my voice through what
were reading.
Matthew wrote,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, I like him more how I'm imagining.
Totally.
So the author gave room for that, which I
Mhm.
like, even with just some of the things that he said. So like I said, if you want him to be a little bit stronger, I would say read it yourself.
Okay.
And if you're okay with just listening to an storytime adventure, then go ahead and listen to the Audible. And let me pull that up actually, because I want to share with you the name.
Okay.
Okay, so it's narrated by Tim Gerard Reynolds, and he's great. He's got great voices. It's really, really good, especially the darker characters that come into play.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's this whole like darkness, shadows, so very, very much like, light side, dark side.
Yeah.
But for me, Gray is stronger and made to be a stronger character than the voice gave. But once again, because he's an older man, I think his only way to do a younger voice was to make a weaker.
Weaken him a little
weaken
bit.
him a little bit. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's important for any reader to be wary of.
I can't remember off the top of my head one book in which the audio really nailed it for when you have one narrator, because it's like you really do a great job and you really do your best. But like I just, because of lack of time or whatever, when I do have to focus on the audiobook, it does, like even just with Zayden, like he wasn't, wasn't for me.
Right.
But I got through it because it's such a great book and it was fine.
Right.
But when I read the words off the page and he was
Yeah.
Maas Aiden, I was like, oh, you're kicking ass.
I mean, it's casting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's the same thing with movies. And in fact, I wonder what the process of like casting voice actors is.
That is interesting.
Like, I don't know. Maybe they should even put a little more attention into it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. So back to this story, though. I could give you a synopsis. I could give you a summary. I don't want to spoil too much of it. What I will say is it's worthwhile. It is a bit to get into, but I know that that's for the same purpose that was a bit to get into because you're developing a world. And he does a very good job, especially at the age at which he started his series, in developing it for the long haul.
Okay.
So it's something that I'll probably have personal reads throughout my future.
To continue?
Yeah, not right away. I'm going to give it beats. That being said, the ending does leave it where you're ready for the next step.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, it does leave you ready for the next step. And in true, I don't know what I said. In true ancillary characters, the quest of a friendship, there's a core group of 3 characters that you're left with who are like, you have the 2 ancillary, a boy and a girl, who are ready to go with him on the next step. And almost to the point where they're like, you're not leaving us behind. Similar and akin to Rebecca.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we don't know, like, there is death in here. There are characters that die. There's a lot of populations that get, wiped out and stuff.
Hold on. Why is it taking me this long? Are there dragons? There's a dragon?
Yeah. Okay, so
Do they have personalities?
No, it's
Oh,
not
okay,
as deep
okay,
as
okay.
Rebecca. So I do appreciate Rebecca. I can't stop telling you.
I know.
about
It's
you.
not a pod if we don't bring her
If
up.
we don't, time for a t-shirt. That being said, they used to be revered. Dragons, historically in the fantasy world, right? Like dragons
Right.
are revered. There's these wise creatures, which makes me kind of wonder,
Probably. Or maybe they came
Right?
across dinosaur bones.
or maybe there are, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're starting to get into the world of dragons in real life. And, but the darkness had overtaken dragons and were using them to cause harm and to take over the
course.
world.
I love that. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate that, but I like that
Yeah.
aspect. Okay.
Yeah, and that was kind of my point, is like a lot of people could be like, oh, he grabbed from here, he grabbed from there, like Game of Thrones, But the reality is the world exists, the fantasy world exists. I don't think that he was ripping on anybody. He was just using the world so it was easier to access.
Yeah, I mean, what do? You just take from what you know and then you make something of your own. Like
Yeah.
that's just what
Yeah.
life is.
Yes, absolutely. I'll give you enough to set the scene. So basically, there's this youngish guy, and he is in, he's in the Citadel. Okay, the scene opens up, and he is basically fighting a mentor. Like a
Oh.
mentor is like, showing him the ropes, believes more in him, but he hasn't really accessed or harnessed this something deep inside him.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then enter female character who I was honestly a little confused with at first. Is she good? Is she bad? And you kind of fight that the whole way. And her name's Vera. And you think that there's like romantic chemistry between them. At that part of the book, you do. And she basically is training to become like witch-like, if that
Oh,
makes
cool,
sense.
cool.
Like
Yeah,
she to harness her own powers. And then all of a sudden, in a snap, after the scene is set, Gray, who at that time is known as Kieran, goes to congratulate her on passing this like basic test that she has to do. It's not a basic test, and she like cheats during it and robs other people of their power. So you're like, wait, she's evil, but she's not evil. So Kieran goes to her room, and she has black tendrils coming out from her, and she has been stabbed with a sword.
Oh no.
And she's hunched over, and you think like she's either dead or dying.
Okay.
So it's a very dramatic scene. And he basically is fighting to take the sword out of her and rescue her. But it's like gore and horror. And once he's able to remove this sword, there are, like I said, it's very dramatic. There are guards that come in, and the black tendrils are protecting the sword, and he's like, his eyes go black and he's overtaken, and the tendrils are stabbing and beheading these soldiers, and like it's like gore. It's like a lot of carnage, right?
Okay.
And
I
then
like
his
it.
mentor enters.
Oh
like,
no, is this a
like
test?
I think I mentioned, it's not a test. Like, this is the darkness that has been brought out from the sword, right?
Oh no.
And the mentor hesitates, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it's, like I said, it's dramatic and traumatic. And then he's able to fight the darkness within him.
Kieran
is. And he goes to his, he realizes he could either save his mentor or save Vera. And then he thinks, though, the mentor's too far gone, I would only be able to save Vera. And so he takes Vera to his grandfather. And his grandfather basically is like, you have to get out of here. Your memory is going to be wiped once you leave, and it'll come back to you when it's necessary.
And that's when he becomes gray?
And that's when he becomes gray. And then enters his other destiny and all these other characters. But Vera, who's left dying, does come back, and she's quite wicked and quite evil.
Oh no, he should have let her die.
And there's also elves that are in the story. So
that's
like,
fun.
I forgot. For me, that's my number one. If you're going to be fantasy, give me some elves.
All right.
It's a thing. It's a thing, you guys. I'm into elves. I'm like way into elves. Legolas.
How into elves?
I mean, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I set the scene well enough. And like I said,
that was a beautiful trailer because now I'm just like, okay, well, what was the sword? Who is the evil? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and then Vera's not even the evilest of the evil. And then you come to learn, obviously, there's a prophecy involved. And in the last pod, I said epic. And this is epic. And it's a good, strong beginning for a saga. I'm truly, genuinely intrigued to read on and read further because of the development. And as you get older, as an author, as a life person, whatever, it's gonna
Your
get
writing's gonna get
it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
So
wow.
that's me on you, Matthew. And we can also go for drinks. Ashley, again? Sure.
Can't say no to that.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
Is that good?
No, it was really good. I want to read it.
I like it. I love it. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Here we go. Bye-bye.
Beautiful. Oh boy.
Oh boy. And now.
So what have you guys been reading?
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. So many people are going to be angry with us.
Okay.
Or
not
not
everybody is
angry.
going to be angry because while I have thoughts, it makes me want to go to the internet and ask them like, wait a second, you had a lot to say, but what were you saying?
Good point. Good point. And to like almost every coin except for a double-headed coin, there's two sides.
Totally. And don't worry, I'm going to bring some pros. You're going to bring some woes.
Comments.
Yeah. And
pros and woes.
Yeah. So in
Pros
case
and
you don't
woes
know,
with Ashley and Katie.
I hope you add something there. We've been reading, in case you weren't aware,
Book 2
of ACOTAR, which is A Court of Mist and Fury.
Yes, I had a graphic printed out, but you know, if you're listening to this anyways, you're not going to see it. So for those YouTubers out there, Instagrammers, I'll just do a quick flash. This is what it looks like.
Much like the last one, but different color.
Yeah.
So by Sarah J. Maas. And I'm just going to start out by saying...
Go on.
Something that doesn't have to do with the story, but what we were sort of talking about, because you were doing graphic audio.
Yes, ma'am.
And I had done just audiobook for the first book.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to give graphic audio a shot. It sounds great.
I mean, I was pretty convincing.
You were.
Yeah.
So within, I don't know, 20 minutes, I was like, I cannot do graphic audio. There's too much going on. I'm just an overstimulated person. The music, the sounds, everything, it's too much for me.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, it kind of felt, and this is now partly because of what it was, cheesy. So
Ashley, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. That was one of the points I was going to make. Absolutely. I think this is a better read book.
I was going to say it almost makes me think, after everything we've talked about today, maybe you would be an ACOTAR galley if you were reading from the page.
Yes and no. I'll get into that a little bit more.
So,
I definitely think more yes if I was a reader.
More than now.
With my
maybe
eyes.
Still not completely
Consuming
in
with my
it, though.
eyes.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So what did I do? I said, I can't do this, and
Love
I've
it.
got a long way to go. I got the audiobook just with the narrator that I had previously,
Okay.
who I actually was like, I think last time we met, saying I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But the graphic
contrast-
audio
In
made
contrast.
me miss her so much that I'm
Okay.
like, where's my Farah? How I know her.
Yeah.
And I went back to the audiobook, and because of life the way it is, I listened the whole thing. I didn't read a word. Actually, I might have read a little bit now that I think about it. I did a digital copy on my phone, so there might have been a couple nights where I got a little eyes on the page. But overall, I needed to get out of graphic audio. I just wanted to start with that. I'm not saying it's graphic audio's fault. Again, I think if there's a different book, like I hate to say it, probably would have loved like Fourth Wing, but it's not for me for ACOTAR. I won't be doing that again.
ACOTAR at all?
No. Graphic audio for ACOTAR.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll give graphic audio another shot, but honestly, maybe I won't. I don't know.
Okay, so really quickly, funny story. All those ACOTARians out there, you already know what the second book is like. You also know that Katie thought that there wasn't enough sexy time in book number 1, or that it was too vague, like very like cookie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So on this road trip, just so that you know, in order for us to get from point A to point B, it's about 18 hours of a drive. So we divide it into 2 days, and I thought, slam dunk, gonna get one in for the pod.
Yeah.
But who was riding with me?
Oh, no other than your sibling, your older brother, if you will.
My older brother. Love him.
Who
Great
can
guy.
appreciate
He can appreciate a lot.
things.
Yeah, he was a theater major. He's brilliant. He was Hamlet in Hamlet. You know, he is a reader as well. In fact, he's a member of our club. Yo, Jim, what's up? That being said, part of my willingness to listen to it or force him to listen to it in the car was the assumption that it wasn't going to be
sexy.
as, yeah.
I mean, that
graphic.
makes sense.
And we were listening to graphic audio. And,
How graphic was it?
And within the first 3 chapters, there's a lot of thrusting.
Oh, yeah.
And some people might be into those experiences with people they're comfortable with. I personally never want to listen to something like that again with my brother writing Princess.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so that's noted.
So I had to stop it at that time. And we kind of agreed like we weren't going to listen to it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So if you haven't read it and you're like, oh, maybe I'm into it, fair warning, as I was told, the second book is spicier.
It's spicier. It's allegedly like the better of the books too, which leaves me a little bummed.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
We're here. Let's
talk
about it.
Okay.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start? Maybe you should start, and then that way I could bring it back home with a few positive remarks.
Well, what do you guys want? Too bad. You have no choices. We can't hear you right now. So here I go.
I just want to, I think we share some opinions.
Ashley, I'm done.
Okay.
Now, I do think that I would enjoy it more reading, like with a book, because I can put my own spice into it. But I'm done for 3 reasons, because I just thought about Rebecca. Number 1, I went in hoping, because it's just so popular, right? There's just so much. Once again, it was the expectation and didn't meet my expectation, because I was hoping for fast, violent, strong characters. Okay. And last episode, I should say, we discussed how, some of the main characters, they're not my cup of tea. Yeah. Okay. Second, I will say that with my brother listening to it with me, there's a redundancy.
Well, you had mentioned the redundancy from the first book with Casey.
Okay, so that's redundant. Even more explicit redundancy,
like ideas and
with what she says.
Okay,
so like it's not just
Very, very human.
It's not just, here's a coffee cup. It's, so I touched the coffee cup and I put it to my lips. And that coffee cup was a coffee cup. And hey, how about that coffee cup?
Yep.
Within like the same paragraph.
Yep.
And especially when you're listening to it, you can't do the pauses that maybe your brain needs. But to me, that's not my writing style. So basically, I hated on it. I didn't hate it. I hated on it. There's a difference, okay? And then when I was looking at some of the reviews, because comparatively, like Goodreads has so many stars for ACOTAR. And like I said, you have an audience. And some of you guys listening to this, you might be like, Katie, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I realized my mistake, Ashley.
Go on.
It's a romance.
Yeah.
It's a romance novel.
Yeah.
I was expecting fantasy. I was expecting intrigue, danger, strength. And it is a romance. And you and I told you about it. It's a soap opera. Like once I put it on and started to get to work doing other things around the house, I was like, oh, this is Days of Our Lives.
We discussed
All my
this.
children.
We discussed
General
this.
Hospital.
Yes.
Like if you are at home ironing, I don't know who does that anymore, but if you're doing something like that, okay, you can pop it in and just go with it. And if you're just going with it, yeah, you get these moments. It's great.
The redundancy might actually be good in that case.
100%.
Because
Like,
your mind wanders for a second, and guess what? You come back and we're still on the coffee cup.
yeah, so it flipped my world in that way. Like once I flipped my perspective, I was like, oh, I get it. If I'm specifically looking though for the adventure that I got in the Empyrean series,
And that you got with Matthew Wolf.
yeah, it's different. It's just so different. Like
Okay.
it's like it's like watching the Hallmark Channel. I mean, not specifically because it's more
There
graphic
is
than that.
spice.
Yeah, there's spice and there's fairies. But I also, okay, I don't know if you're gonna laugh at this. You want to know how I felt?
How?
And well, you've listened to the graphic audio. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Okay. This is like such a bogus reach, you guys. David the Gnome.
Okay. No, it's not a reach.
When you're little,
Yeah.
Okay, David the Gnome, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, if you don't, go look it up. But it's like, it's this gnome that rides on rabbits, and it's this beautiful little land that he lives in.
I miss that forest, to be honest.
So imagine David the Gnome as a soap opera.
So now I'm actually thinking, is this why I'm so partial? I didn't. Okay, here's the thing.
That's my spiel.
Okay.
That's my spiel.
Well, you've just really, because even though I've come to terms with it, I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to talk about how and why and when.
Okay.
But like, just this whole, like, now that you've just pretty much rocked my world, letting me know that I'm somewhat enjoying a romance.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it makes me feel better or worse, because now I'm just like, oh, am I a romance gal? Like, where's my Danielle Steele? But you're right. Like, the expectation of action and like a fighter. I mean, granted, we're getting there, but like in the story.
Yeah.
But yes, if I continue to compare Violet and Farah, I will forever be unsatisfied.
Yeah.
And
let it go. Let Vi go.
And given like the internet like uproar about how great and everything this series is, with that being said, like, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge the internet by its opinion. Because if I would have started ACOTAR as a person who's like not a fantasy girly or whatever, if I would have started ACOTAR, I wouldn't have gotten through it. And then I would have not wanted to read Fourth Wing, because
100%.
I would have thought, what's going on over there in the romantasy? I don't want any part of it.
Yeah. Okay. So like, I know your murder.
Yeah, in case you guys didn't see my post about my summer beach reads, they all happen to have something in common.
Murder, intrigue, right? So I know you for that, right?
Right.
So if, let's say you were to recommend Garden State, okay, just because it's such contrast.
Right.
And I might be like, oh, okay, Ashley loves this type, so like I'm gonna watch Garden State, and Garden State is gonna be like, you know, I'm gonna get these types of feelings, and you don't get those feelings from Garden State.
It's not about the New Jersey serial killer.
No. Okay. And I think that's a really good point, because like when you're involved and engaged in entertainment and you're on a vibe and an audience that appreciates a specific type, like I know that a lot of ACOTARians love Empyrean, right? And so when they were like, oh, you're going to love this because I love this, I was like, of course, because we're like this. We're simpatico. You know, I was like crossing my fingers for those of you who can't see us. And then it's not.
Really, what we're learning is that Rebecca's work just crosses so many borders
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
people who will gravitate,
Yeah.
enjoy.
So don't base
It's
a
not
read
taking
off of a
away
fan
from
base.
Sarah. It's
Yeah.
just that because I think it's safe to say Sarah's good at what she's doing.
Yes, way to go.
But
Sarah, good
it's
job.
just what she's doing is maybe not for us.
Yeah, okay.
And that's it.
And that brutal honesty. I love that about us, and that's what I wanted to give to you guys, okay? So even if you disagree with us, that's totally fine. At least you know where we stand, and we're going to be honest with you about that. So if you vibe with our books, then you're going to vibe you'll vibe more with them.
And
I'm not just going to say I like it, because I don't.
Yeah, and I will also extend that, take it a step further and say that, like, for me, Feyre, geez Louise, Feyre is not a super strong character. She's getting stronger, whatever. I have my opinions.
Yeah.
I think
don't like
there's
her.
people out there who would say, oh, no, she's really strong and these are the reasons
True.
why. Totally.
True.
Cool. For you, she is. And
For
for,
you.
me, she's not.
Great.
That's
Love
all.
it.
Things
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh. Okay, so we're like kind of on the same page in a
Well,
way?
we are, except
certain
for
things.
that. I'm going to keep going. Because,
Okay, we did it for fantasy. Let's give us the romance perspective. What do you expect, anticipate, or enjoy in a romance? Now, that's not your typical genre,
No,
though.
I don't think. I mean, now that I'm 2 books in, I've read 2, but I haven't really read anything that's like explicitly for the romance of it. I will say that what I'm getting out of it, what's going to bring me back to the 3rd book, is that Rhys is a strong male, in this case, character in that he is like likable for me. Like I prefer, he's my favorite character just based on like his personality.
Yeah.
There's somebody like I feel like akin to just someone who like
She needed to give us that.
Yeah, like I'm not even
bad
his
boy.
description. He's still a little like kind of on the weak side for me. Like
Yeah.
he's the most powerful fairy there is, but he's still a fairy.
Yeah.
And leave it at that.
So gentle.
But he's enough though. His character development is enough for me. His backstory, his feelings, where he's coming from, what he's been through. He's been through a lot. He's got a lot of trauma.
Team
That's
Reese.
enough for me
Team Reese. Okay, so
to keep me in the romance.
yeah, so that male character, right? Or the sexual character. What would it be? The attractive character or something like that?
Just like the
Okay,
masculine
so
character.
When I put my mind into the lens of romance, typical romance, you need there to be tension, sexual tension.
Mm-hmm.
You need there to be almost dueling characters for the love interest, right? You have to have that. You got that. There does need to be some self-reflection or growth within the femme character.
Okay,
right?
We've got
Okay.
that.
Or lead character. And then another idea that is pretty common too is romance isn't just hot and dirty, hanky-panky.
And I will say that there's a lot.
I mean, it gets there.
Besides the hot and dirty hanky-panky going on in ACOTAR so far.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe too much.
And to me, that's the difference between maybe a romance and
Like a smutty.
Smut.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even romance and fantasy.
Right.
Right? Because like there are hints of like some sexual tension or spiciness in this fantasy, but there's no gratuity. There's no like actual like sexual experiences that are described, whereas in the romance novels and romance genres there are that exists to varying degrees depending on authors, styles, tastes, and even as we've learned with the aliens, to different degrees, right? Like
certainly,
which is this. I think smut's the highest,
yeah,
right?
Right.
And what you might call smut, someone else might be
not
like,
even blink.
Not even blink.
Yeah.
So when I look at it as a romance, I'm like, oh no, she's got that. Sarah's got it. Sarah's totally got that. It's not my type of romance.
See, and for me, like this, and again, I'm speaking as a person who's read less than half of the series because we're only 2 books in. There's 5 as of now. For me, this could have been 1 book because you had brought up redundancy. There is a lot of that. There's a lot of second guessing inner monologue to the extent where we're like 4th guessing. And
I don't like it.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
So what I do like and what's bringing me back is, well, I've come this far and I want to know what happens with the war.
Yeah. Okay, so there's like something bigger that creates the series.
Yeah, I like Feyre and Rhys enough that I want to know what happens with them.
Yeah.
I also kind of entered this book. I didn't really look online about anything because I don't want any like major spoilers, and I
yeah.
still haven't. So I came into this book thinking like, oh, we're going to battle, and like we're not.
Yeah.
I guess that's the next book.
And I think that's what frustrates Casey. She's not a romance person anyways, and I don't mean that in life. I mean like in
For the
entertainment.
genre,
Yeah. I do see it like however, I do see that it could be like an anime because animes are
Oh, I
kind of
see. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
wanted to get it into a different genre.
Mhm.
But I don't see it as like an HBO special or a movie that's hitting the theaters like Rebecca's.
No.
Because of that redundancy and because they don't just give you what you want.
Yeah, I feel like it could all be like maybe 1 or 2 movies, but we're certainly not getting 5 movies out of this.
No.
And another thing is, I just like, there are other characters that I like especially in
Yeah.
this book. Like
I like the Winter Court.
Yeah,
All of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I love it. Do you mean Night Court?
Night Court, yeah.
Okay. Because
Sorry.
no, we did visit.
I want to live there.
Yeah, no, Night Court is great. That might be another thing that's bringing me back. I just don't. Well, okay. So when we talk about the actual book, what went on? I really enjoyed this whole like we're mates now thing. Like I enjoyed a lot of the ideas. I didn't really enjoy like the specific vocabulary and like the actual writing that came around it.
Okay, good.
So
a good
in
point.
this aspect, I'm liking her ideas. I'm really not liking her writing. So I think that's also why the audiobook is fine for me to just listen and get through and know what happens in the story.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep reading. It's not going to be a podcast book. Like I'll probably bring it up
Mention
when I
it.
get to
Okay,
something.
sweet.
But it's not going to be like we're reading this together.
I
It's
appreciate
going to
it.
be like my extra own time listen. I want to just put it on and like not maybe catch every moment. I want to know what happens without Googling it, but I don't want it to be like a focus of what we're going to be talking about.
Very cool.
So just there's that. But I do like what's going on. Like I like this like fairy human, thing, dynamic, problem, conflict. I like this fairy conflict.
Yeah.
I kind of like that Feyre, spoiler alert, ends up having to go back home with Tamlin
Who we
at
hate.
the end. Who, by the way,
Tamlin.
yucky.
Yucky.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you catch that Lucian's mate is Feyre's now fairy sister Elaine's mate? I'm sorry, that was redundant of me. Let me try again.
Wait,
Lucian, am I having a stroke?
Yeah.
Lucian,
Yeah.
his mate is Fair sister.
Okay, which is crazy.
So I want to know if something happens there.
Okay, but didn't we kind of call that?
Did we?
Right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, that's okay.
Sorry, I was having a moment.
No, it's
But so
exciting.
anyway,
I love Lucian.
Yeah, I like him too, but it's just like pissing me off because like, why are you sticking by Tamlin? Maybe he won't.
Okay, or maybe there's more to Tamlin, but I
There's
disagree.
not.
Okay, I got to tell you. So you weren't a Twilight person, but this is the Jacob versus Edward.
Oh.
And I know you heard about that. And to be honest, Bella is very similar to Feyre in the sense that she's weak.
I was going to do like, I'm sitting at a desk and I'm like really pale.
Yeah, because all your imagination is Kirsten Stewart, which is great, you know. But
Who could play Feyre?
I mean, okay.
If and when.
And if there were more gay characters. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that might happen a little bit, but I get it. And then so enter Edward, and you're supposed to love Edward, and Edward gives his life or
So
whatever.
Tamlin is Edward.
Yeah, that's my thought,
Okay.
right? And then
But doesn't she end up with Edward?
yeah.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm like, okay. But you fall in love with Jacob for a while because he's there for her, right?
Mhm.
And then I go, oh right, I'm stuck in a romance. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's these ideas. I want more for Feyre. I'm just gonna say it. I want because she like is strong and then she's not. And then she's like strong again, but then she's like so much doubt and like once again, maybe it was the graphic audio.
She's getting stronger.
Okay.
Okay, because here's the thing. She's okay, spoiler alert, she's the most powerful fairy that ever existed. She just doesn't have it harnessed yet.
Yeah.
Because she's a little bit of
the
all
only person
the
that was
High
gonna help
Lords.
was Rhys.
But here's the deal. So she goes back. All that yucky stuff happens with Hybern. She goes back with with Tamlin.
Yeah.
And it is like a known thing. She's like a sleeper cell now. She is in the spring court with Tamlin. She's boots on the ground. She's undercover. She's taken them down. So while I was hoping that the second book would be, this whole battle, whatever, I'm now hoping the third book will be this like Mission Impossible style.
Yeah, because you know what? Now that you say she's a sleeper cell, I like it so much more. Honestly, like, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to stop reading it because you're going to
and
read
I'm going
it.
to tell you anything important.
Yeah, and then you're going to make it so much better.
I might.
Yeah, I love this. I
Yeah.
love this for us.
So, and all to say is that it's not for me. However, I'm invested enough in the characters. Oh, by the way, I'm reading the third book. This doesn't mean I'm reading the fourth and the fifth book by any means, but I want to get through the battle. The Night Court people, Amarin,
Yeah.
she's like from another dimension. I don't know, but she's super powerful and cool. Moore, who is his female cousin, sick, love her.
Ancillary.
In the audiobook, the narrator's voice sounds like Reese Witherspoon when she does Moore, and I'm really liking it because she's like fun but also super tough. I love like the gosh, I forget what their little tribe is called, but the wing warrior guys, Cassian and the other guy.
I like Cassian.
Yeah, I'm loving so everything
See,
Night
she
Court.
gave me
I'm
characters
loving
I
it.
like. Yeah.
I'm liking it a lot better than the first in that regard. So what I'm hoping is that the internet is wrong.
Yeah.
Since I'm going to be taking on the third book, because what I've seen, and I feel like maybe we've shared this, is the second and the fifth book in ACOTAR series are the better, according to the masses.
Okay, so since that's what the internet and people have said,
Maybe it won't be the case.
you are gonna. I have a feeling I know you well enough that you're going to finish it because of the hope of the fifth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might. Okay, so I did cheat a little bit once, and I think that the last book is not even really about Feyre.
Oh,
I think it's about, I mean, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, Nesta more so. Like, they're still all in the land and
I
doing
love
the
it.
things. But yeah, so I'm going to be reading the third. There better effing be a battle, and I'll report more in a week or two.
Now, you did start this part of our conversation by saying, the internet being wrong, right, whatever. Have you ever known the internet to be wrong?
There's just so much internet that they are both simultaneously right and wrong at any given moment.
Hot dog. Yeah. Okay.
Now, what is trending is always wrong. So maybe I'll really enjoy the third book. Who knows?
Sometimes when what is it? If you love something, let it go. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, I love that for you.
Yeah.
And I wish we had a third person here who could just read the book and then tell us both what's going on.
Well, you guys are the third person. The baddies, the book baddies are the third person.
Well, we have one person. I've said too much. We have we have somebody who engages, who actually is all for ACOTAR. I think that they were well aware of the expectation and just being a romance girly, perhaps. I don't want to speak for her. Just, letting us know that we're in it and it's good and get through it.
Are you talking about OK Cassandra?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys should follow her, first of all, because she does know her fantasies.
I was going to say she seems like a fantasy expert.
Yes. And I have appreciated her encouragement. In fact, I should probably just talk to you directly. I'm pointing at the cameras. I appreciate your support with it entirely, and I think I was just in the wrong frame of mind. Like I said, once I realized, it's a romance.
Yeah,
you digest it differently.
Totally. And she even encouraged me. She might have thought she was encouraging it, but she encouraged me via messages and just like, oh yeah, chapter 54 of the Mist and Fury is like the best chapter of all chapters.
Yeah.
I went back and I had already finished, and I went back and I was like, okay, this is the best chapter of all chapters. She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And it's not solely because of OK Cassandra, but it does give me a little bit of hope and faith that like I'll get a little something out of going on.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool too is, bigger stores such as Target. I went back in there and they specifically in their book section, which seems to be getting bigger. Like, I love that books are kind of coming back to the forefront.
I'm surprised every time I go to take a look.
Yeah, and books are actually expensive. When you think about streaming services, like,
you're getting one story. And I mean, compensate the authors. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
But yes,
but if
when
you're a bookie,
picking
you're in
up a lot. Yeah.
So what I was saying is there's a large section in the book section specifically for just fantasy.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of intrigued because, like, what you were saying You're into the romance. You're kind of, you know what I think it is? I think you're in your mom phase, your soap opera phase,
When we,
which is great.
I think offline we had mentioned, and we kind of just talked about it a minute ago. We've got Fourth Wing, Empyrean series, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We've got ACOTAR, General Hospital,
All my
Days
children.
of Our Lives. You
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah, yeah.
earlier. I am a soap opera girly, and it is the perfect comparison in my opinion, and I'm ready to know like the cheesiness, and I'm ready to love it.
I think that's, I love it.
And I say
love
cheesiness
it.
because fantasy is just not my thing.
Yeah.
But Reese and Feyre are
Hot.
turning out to be my thing.
Yeah. And that's okay.
We didn't really talk about it. She gets a lot of really cool special powers. I don't think we need to talk about it because if you read it, you know. And
Yeah.
if you haven't read it, it's probably not for you.
And Reese is like way more of a badass.
Yeah, he is. And Tamlin, okay, that's the thing too. I'm excited to see like how he goes down. He really messed things up. I don't even really want to talk about it anymore, to be honest.
Okay, the dynamics of love though, right? Like his quote unquote love at the time for Feyre, so hard to say. His love was so powerful that it broke the spell.
True.
Okay. And broke,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then she got all these powers or whatnot because she's,
I think
gifted
Feyre
them.
more broke the spell. I don't think Tamlin knows what love is.
There it is.
I think he tried his best and his best really sucked. And given his background, he also wasn't that honest. I mean, we can get into the nitty gritty, but he wasn't that honest. He killed Reese's dad. And I mean, there's just a lot there. But whatever. I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Maybe he thought he was better. Okay. So in a way though.
He did do a lot of good.
Yeah. And but the dynamics though of this whole love concept, right? It's almost like first loves, like really what? She was just, she made it with like a couple stable boys or something like that. But then she loved this amazing fairy who wore a mask, whatever. And she just kind of jumped in. And there is a lot of quote unquote love making. And Sarah calls it love making, but it really just seems like hooking up.
Yeah, and Feyre even tells us, like, oh, was I in love or was I in a survival trauma?
She thought it was love, but then, and that's where to me it's a true romance because it deals with those feelings and like someone who knows you intimately and respects you. This is the idea of respect, right? So it's kind of like that woman empowerment in a way.
Yeah, Reese is giving her all the power.
Yeah, but one of the things that. Yeah, he's giving it to her. Anyways, back to you, Ashley. No, what I was going to say is, you had spoken about enjoying the fairy realm, the magic, the dragons. And so, roundabout way that Katie's brain works, Tarjay and the fantasy section, it's huge. So, like, there's lots of different fans out there. I'm actually interested into some of these other authors. Like, maybe I need to read a couple covers and pages.
That actually is a great idea. I will say I'm overwhelmed by the amount of like gothic font and black covers and roses in glass that I see when I go down that aisle. It is overwhelming to me. I'm sure that there's something good out there.
Yeah.
So if you do hunt through that haystack and you find a needle,
and let's do
it.
Let's enlist the book baddies out there.
Please.
Okay. You book baddies, I want to know, Ashley's personal flavor is murder, intrigue, what's going on. Apparently a little bit of romance, but I wouldn't say that's your
It doesn't need to be a focal
cup of
point.
tea.
I mean, if they're banging, they're banging.
Yeah.
But I don't need it to be that.
Fluffy? Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's a fantasy out there more akin to that, can you let us know?
Hey, where's all the serial killer fantasy girlies? And I don't mean to gender it.
No, do it. Let's do it. Let's do an all call right now. Say it.
Yeah, I would love to know if there's like some fantasy magical serial killer type of stuff out there. Are kids getting abducted via magic? Is there a series for me?
Let's go.
If you're listening and not watching, I made a face of, is there?
Yeah. Her arms are open. Her eyes are wide.
Yeah.
With arms wide open.
That was
Creed's
me.
coming to Akershire.
Oh,
did you hear?
I actually did. We can talk about that later.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. All right. Last thoughts on ACOTAR? Predictions? I don't know.
I don't know. I just hope like I just hope there's a battle. I hope there's a winner, and I hope Feyre beats some ass because she's got like powers of the 7 highest lords, and I really
Yeah.
she's used them. She's doing great. I hope it continues. I want to see Tamlin go down. I want to see Lucian free to do his own thing, and I want to see Rhys do more Rhys stuff.
Reese's Pieces.
Yeah. So that was that.
That was that. What are we reading next? Obviously not that. That'll be more personal.
Yeah, that's just going to be me listening while I'm doing the dishes, and I'll, let you guys know what I think.
Okay, and you're going to continue in Trinidad?
Yeah, Hungry Ghosts. I'm going to keep on trucking. I feel like not like I'm obligated to the author, but I do feel like there's a good story there. I want to know if these kids kidnapped this guy for ransom, maybe.
Yeah.
And together, something exciting.
Well, first, I do have to apologize to LB Carter and to any baddies who read One Lone Soul. One Lone Soul. Yeah, there it is. I did get deep into it. It is a fun, quick, quirky book. The Audible version's it's under 7 hours if you wanted to ingest that way. But it deserves being talked about more than me just saying, hey, this book. So that'll be the next pod. I'll finish it and we'll talk about that because it's really fun and a good series, I think, for easy fantasy readers. Or I should say nonfiction readers. And then together. What are we doing together?
What is it called again?
What are we doing?
The one where the movie's coming out?
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. My head went down the rabbit hole. Okay, you guys, so I should say it this way. This is me talking to myself. Katie, what happened when you had to turn off ACOTAR listening to it in the car with your brother?
The story continues.
Yeah, the story continues. The story continues because there was still 38 hours to drive or something like that. So naturally, I have a lot of podcasts to listen to, but my brother's in his own book club, another book club. There's lots of book clubs out there. And this one's for work. And he does music licensing for film and television. Hate to give that away, but don't because he's a great guy. And so they do a lot of I think up and coming. Honestly, I'm not going to speak about his book club with one exception. They recently read Project Hail Mary.
Hail Mary, that's what it was. What is it called?
Yes, Project Hail Mary. And that's his book club book of the month. And it is going to be a full-length motion picture starring childhood favorite
Ryan Gosling.
Did
you guys see him in that football movie with Denzel Washington? What was that called? Trojan
Rudy?
something?
No.
What was that really critically acclaimed movie called? Whatever. He was a football player in high school. It was great.
Honestly, he's been in a lot
Remember
of really
the
good
Titans.
stuff.
Sorry. It wasn't Trojans. It was the Titans. And I'm remembering them. I had to say it. Go on. I'm sorry.
You know what, though? He's been in a lot.
Oh, he's been in so much.
And I don't want to say he's typecasted, but some of you might think that he's typecasted. Let me just say this role is perfect for him. And when we started listening to the audiobook, which I will say is one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to, the person who narrates it does such a good job where I almost wonder if he was sitting down and before even starting his voice over or whatever, if he thought, okay, this character needs to have this voice and then practiced it. And does this character need to have this voice and practiced it? Because it was so good. Each of the voices were different. But the author, Andy Weir, who did The Martian, it's a very intelligent book. And the reason why we're making a shared read, even though obviously I've already trucked through it literally, is because I think now is the time to read it if you're going to read it. The motion picture comes out in March of next year. So that's enough time in between where you can digest it. We can have a conversation about it. We can enjoy it as a book and then see how things are portrayed. Knowing that Ryan Gosling was going to be the main actor, though,
helpful.
It actually was. It actually was because I was like, this is who I see. If I were casting, I would pick him.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't wait to talk to you or talk with you about it. And obviously, anybody else out there who's book clubbing it, or please book club it with us. I think it's worthwhile. It's 100% worthwhile.
I'll probably start it today.
Yeah.
Watch me come back next week having fully listened to whatever the third ACOTAR book is, this Project Hail Mary, and reading 2 pages of my historical fiction.
I'm here for it.
I mean, that might just be what goes on. But I'm just like really excited. I need something to like pump up my volume. And it sounds like Project Hail Mary might be what I need.
Okay. Narrated by Ray Porter. And let's see if there's... I was hoping, you know how sometimes they do like a little, you can listen. Oh, here's a preview. Let's see.
Audible Studios presents Project Hail Mary, written by Andy Weir, performed by Ray Porter.
For John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
That's funny.
Chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
What's 2 plus 2? Something about the question irritates me. I'm tired. I drift back to sleep. A few minutes pass, then I hear it again. What's 2 plus 2? The soft, feminine voice lacks emotion, and the pronunciation is identical to the previous time she said it. It's a computer. A computer is hassling me. I'm even more irritated now. I say. I'm surprised. I meant to say, leave me alone. A completely reasonable response, in my opinion, but...
Okay, so I don't know how much I could share of it that way, but you can go listen to it.
15 seconds.
Yeah, it kind of gives you an idea, though, of the personality. And, I mean,
I'm
spoiler
picturing
alert.
Ryan Gosling now that you said, like, I was interested, and I'll do this on homework on my own, but, like, when was the audiobook release? When was the book release? And when did they decide that it was going to be Ryan? Because I feel like they were like, oh, we're going to have Ryan in that movie. We're going to get this guy for the audiobook. It's just so perfect. Like, I'm not saying it even sounds exactly like him, but I can hear Ryan,
the personality,
doing this.
So this was the winner of the 2022 Audie Awards audiobook of the year.
Oh, okay.
And it is the #1 Audible and New York Times audio bestseller.
Nice.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of personality, and there's a lot of it's so well written, you guys. It's so well written in the flashbacks and how he puts things together, so you're like solving a problem, and there's good science in it. So it's not just like, hey, you're dumb, believe this. It's like it walks you through it a little bit more, so it's like next level.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say more than that, though.
Okay.
Because that's next pod.
Okay. That sounds good.
I really hope you all like it. Oh, I did.
I like everything, in case you haven't noticed. But since we were talking about movies, I did want to let everybody know, the bookies know, the Thursday Murder Club, if you haven't seen, is coming out on Netflix August 28th. I don't work for Netflix. However, I am sharing because I think that they did a good job with casting. I want everybody to know, I'm not going to say characters-wise who's who because I didn't look into it that far. But if you look at the poster for the movie, Helen Mirren.
Okay, didn't we want her?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Pierce Brosnan, perfect, because I can tell who they are casting for those 2 individuals. I don't remember their names. I'm not going to try to remember. Ben Kingsley, who is also perfect.
Great.
For him. I can tell just by looking who's who. And then Celia Imrie, I'm not sure. I've seen her face.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling
So we're excited.
This is a score. Yeah, so I am excited. August 28th, that's not that far away. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to report back. So you guys should watch it too, maybe?
Yes. Heck yes. I mean, we'll have another pod before then.
Maybe even 2.
Thrilling.
I don't know. Yeah.
Thrilling. I'm excited.
I'm just really happy that they nailed the casting.
Yes. So important.
I'm hoping that it carries.
And you know what? I just have to say, like, let's go casting agents for voice actors, because like it's so important.
Yeah.
That's what I'm learning as I'm jumping more into the whole world of reading. Like, seriously. And merch shout out, please, you guys.
Oh my gosh, you guys, did you see what Katie has done?
Our Rep Your Reading, actually. Rep Your Reading. Like, are you an audiobooker, a good listener?
Hardcover lover.
Are you a hardcover lover like me? I like it hard. And then, of course, the soft covers,
and
right?
the softies.
Baby's got paperback.
So she's done great. If you didn't see the little post, no, I'm like blown away. I'm like, Katie, why
So
aren't you a
fun.
professional video maker?
Because I love
Because that's a technical term. But it's really good. Good stuff there. Affordable, by the way. Shirts are like $20 each. Come on.
We're keeping it low. We just want you guys to have fun with this.
Yeah. So join us, won't you?
Go jump when. Wait, what? Read? Go read when.
All I heard was break wind, and she didn't even say that.
My brain capacity is finest.
Well, you know what? It's been a
Finished.
long one. We came back. We've
Thanks,
been off for
guys.
3 weeks. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
I think we'll be here next week.
I guess,
so
of
that's
course.
exciting.
Yep.
Wish me luck
Good luck.
with everything.
Hey, Ashley.
I was thinking with
Good luck.
ACOTAR. Thank you.
Oh,
And good
yeah,
luck to you.
Thank you so much. And hey, baddies, good luck. Are we doing it? Do the
Yeah.
point? We're going to point.
I'm pointing.
Good luck to
To you.
You. Bye.
Bye.